What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with a review of Peso Pluma's third album, Génesis. Yes, Peso Pluma, absolutely meteoric rise. If you don't know the name, you soon will. Peso Pluma, Mexican artist, has currently only 53 million monthly listeners on Spotify. He only has, a song that peaked at number 4 this year. That, of course, would be Ella Bayal Sola, which was his feature with the band Eslabon Armado. He's got a bunch of other big hits as well. I think Peso Pluma right now has like 10 songs. Sorry, he has 9 songs on the Hot 100 right now before his album came out, including features. This is his first album since his major breakthrough that began last year, and I think Peso Pluma is incredibly significant because of what he represents, the kind of artist he is, and what that says about music in the United States, as well as the overall globalism of music. And I think it's a really exciting thing. Peso Pluma is Mexican. He makes what's called in the United States like regional Mexican music. It's kind of a catch-all term to describe a wide swath of Mexican music genres. And to be clear, I'm not an expert on any of these genres, but Peso Pluma is credited for, being one of the drivers of this new kind of subgenre of Mexican music called corridos tumbados. Corridos itself was its own genre, and corridos tumbados is kind of taking that corridos music, which is, I think, broadly like very acoustic heavy, very minimal percussion, just to put it simply, gives you a bit of mariachi vibe if you know the sound. Corridos tumbados, though, takes that and kind of updates the production a little bit, giving you some more reggaeton inspiration as well as some hip-hop inspiration. This might sound familiar because it's kind of what we've seen with other Latin artists pushing things forward. Of course, the obvious name to drop here would be Bad Bunny, who is the biggest artist in the world right now. He's doing a very similar thing with the kind of reggaeton and Latin trap music he makes. Peso Pluma pushing corridos music and Mexican music in general, regional Mexican music forward is wild, and hard to say exactly how this breakthrough really came to be. I think a part of it would be general acceptance and mainstream meteoric rise of Latin music in broad strokes. Bad Bunny as well as Rosalia, like you're seeing that, right? Are the algorithms of our streaming services pushing people that really listen to, say, a Bad Bunny or an Anuel AA and saying, hey, you might like this Peso Pluma guy. He's not even from, the Caribbean. He's Mexican, but you might like it. Who knows if that's a big driver of it. But, speaking of the United States, by far, the majority of Latino people in the United States are of Mexican descent. So it's not a surprise that eventually Mexican music would rise above the underbelly of pop music. It's not a shock, but it's here and it's happened. I think Peso Pluma, with Génesis, this is going to be the entry point for the majority of people. And I think it's a nice listen. Again, I'm not an expert on corridos or mariachi or Mexican music at all, but I know a little Spanish, but just listening to it, I think what really stands out is this type of production, and I think it's really nice. Those acoustic guitars, very consistent. The horns go super OD. Trumpets, saxophones, it's awesome. Accordions, it's really cool. And Peso, his charisma as a singer, I think really stands out. That's probably why his features have really blown up on other people's songs, because he really pops as a different voice when he makes music with other people, that's just kind of my guess. But that being said, I think on Génesis, I really enjoyed the horns on the first track, Rosa Pastel. I thought 777 with Eladio Carrion was really good. Let's see. I mean, in general, I think it's really smooth listen. This production, maybe it could feel a bit samey at times, but it's just like a complete vibe the entire time. Like it's really, really easy to listen to. I thought Gavilan 2 with Tito Double P, the horns go absolutely buck wild on that song. Love it. And then VVS, I love the vocals the back and forth vocally that Peso does with the guests on that song. Those are the ones that immediately jumped out to me, but overall, I think it's a pretty great listen. 14 songs, 45 minutes. And like I said, if you don't know the name, you soon will because he's already dominating the charts. And I think this is just the beginning. Peso Pluma, 24 years old. Really cool to see success like this, especially in the United States. Like I always like talking about the globalism of music, whether it's Afro beats, whether it's K-pop, whether it's reggaeton, you know, whether it's dembo, we're getting it all kinds at this rate from all over the world. And Peso Pluma, just the latest example. Not like he's super far away from the United States, down in Mexico, but this is something new and for the mainstream, and it's happening, and that's really cool. Let me know, how did you feel about Peso Pluma's Genesis? What's your favorite song? And for more music reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.